If you take a look at this setup here, we've got a pump, and then we've got a solenoid inside the control panel, and we've got this line here going out to some controls. Now, you can see that we've got listed here all the different lines that go out. We only see one line listed here, but there's, as you can see, 6 of them going out total. AC1, AC23, 25, AC27, 21, 22. And then their corresponding names. And then you can see each one has got a distance on it, 150 feet, 125 feet, 500 feet, and 500 feet. Now, those are kind of guesses at their distance. And but what goes on here is that when this solenoid opens up, and this is the zone solenoid that we do timing off of, whether it's daytime, whether we turn it on more during the day or less during the evening, this is the solenoid that turns on. And then when it turns on, this pump is constantly running. It fills this line here, and it goes to this pressure switch. The pressure switch turns on the timers and the solenoid. So we have to fill this line with this pump, and it takes a while. AC number 1 fills pretty quickly. Well, it actually doesn't have to fill. It pressurizes. It already is at 125, 125 psi. This line, but it takes at that distance, and this pump capacity, is not real big. It takes 3, 4, 5 seconds to fill that line, and then you have then the pressure switch makes, and then it takes and the pressure switch makes, and then it takes 3 or 4 or 5 seconds for the pressure to dissipate or the pressure in the line to go down before the pressure switch actually shuts back off again. So I'm erasing some of this stuff. So timing, what that comes down to is timing of this solenoid that's turned on by this pressure switch is very hard to control in an exact manner. Now, I think your last email, you requested 4.5 seconds. And I just can't do that. All I can do is guess. Well, actually, let's just say that the best that Skylar and I have been able to do is to get this at 6 or 7 seconds due to the pressurizing and depressurizing of this line. So we're at a point, and again, when we're 2 and 7, when we're at 500 feet, it takes a while for that line to pressurize. It takes a while for that line to depressurize. This zone is actually running around 10 to 12 seconds. And that's the minimum it can run. It has to run 10 or 12 seconds. So, so I have to time it, according to that actual runtime. And then actually zone 2 and 7, which are not very high demand zones, I've got that spread out at about 900 seconds or 1200 seconds, which 900 seconds is 15 minutes. So that's that. Now, I'm going to erase some of this. Now, um, it would be nice, and I did set it up to begin with this solenoid open all the time. So that meant that line was pressurized, and the timers controlled when this went on and off. But what happened with AC zone, I think it was, 1 or 2 and 7, the pulsation of this line, because of the pump, was so great, the line was shaking, the black pressure line was shaking too much that I felt that it was going to rub a hole in it quite quickly. So that's why it made it more advantageous to pulse this solenoid off on and off at different times, and then have that control this uh, this this mess down here, pressure switch, solenoid valve. Then have it all run off, everything down there. So I know it's a little bit complex to understand, but so if we had a system that ran, it didn't have this solenoid, and we had a pump that looped all the way around and came back throughout the whole facility, we would have high pressure here all the time. And with that high pressure here all the time, we wouldn't need this pressure switch. That could go bye-bye. And all we would need is a timer here and a solenoid valve. And there, if we just have that, we could very precisely time these guys down to, as soon as we energize that solenoid and de-energize it, so we can go down to, a half a second. And I would think that's where we want to be on some different facilities, is that we want to pulse this thing on for a half a second and then off for 1 minute and then back on for a half a second, then off for 1 minute, to give it more product and even out the product distribution. So that's some of my thinking. So it comes down to that even LE, I'll use the word LE, is not, and I use the word LE because this is going on YouTube and it's out in the public. I use the word LE because, that LE is not really set up very well either. It works, but is LE at our final revision? No. Is LE working well enough? Yes. So I just wanted to get this out to you to maybe further understand what's going on, and that should do it. Thank you very much.